Open the vault.
Hello guys and welcome back to another video start select. Today we're going to be doing Vault 101, a video where we talk about different gaming discussions and then we all decide if it should be sent down the Vault 101, never to be seen ever again. So we all know the rules, we've all got our picks, so I'm going to go straight to you, Colin. What is your first pitch?
So my first one, you might not like this, E3.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you say your piece, we won't interrupt you.
So let me just grab my notes. So E3, it's overhyped. It's not what it used to be. It used to be all like the three big consoles, all the developers would have their own conference and whatever, and like we'd all have our speculation and stuff, and we still do, but it's not quite what it used to be. And I think it's been watered down because they have like tree houses or state of plays throughout the year. So
Okay.
E3 is not what it used to be, and it's just not that good anymore. I don't think. Like, when was the last good E3? Like, can you? I can't think of it. It must have been like 10 years ago. So yeah, I don't think E3 has been what it used to be, and it lost its way when the PS4 and Xbox One started. Really, it was really good. PS3, 360, PS2 days. It's not there anymore.
Right. I mean, Damien, I'm gonna go with you because I know a fair amount of times, me and you, and even a bunch of us, to be fair, we used to watch E3 live sometimes together. What do you think about Colin's pitch?
I think he is right, probably as well, because like it's not as exciting anymore. I don't think E3, and it feels like I don't know, everyone's doing their own thing now, aren't they? You know, like Nintendo's got their own thing, and is it PlayStation as well? Got the state of
Yes,
play and
that's
stuff.
right.
So like it felt better back in the day because everyone was doing the event together. I think so. Yeah.
Right. What about you, Anthony? I mean, I never really, I don't think I've ever talked to you about like press conferences, especially when it comes to E3.
I'm
What would,
inclined to agree with him because I mean, you got the internet now, and like you get your bits of information about upcoming games sort of as it happens. So I mean, E3 used to be sort of like, I mean, I think the internet has contributed to it in a way because
Yeah,
like E3 was like the major once a year gaming event, and like you'd wait for it, and like you'd get your big bits of information from there.
yeah.
Whereas now you've got the internet, you get your information about a new upcoming game sort of spoon fed to you as it happens, and then by the time E3's come, it's like, well, I've got my information and stuff
yeah.
already, so I don't
It's
like,
old
I
news.
don't need
Like,
this.
I just don't see the point in E3 anymore. I think it's overhyped because of what it used to be.
Right. See, I actually understand what you're saying, but I'm actually going to go tackle this from a different direction because I agree with the Nintendo Directs and the State of Plays. They are constantly throughout the year. You'll probably get about maybe 4 to 5 State of Plays and maybe about 3 Nintendo Directs, but they're kind of like bite-sized versions of E3 in my eyes. Like E3, they always kind of say the top guns, like that's when they announced, Metroid Prime 4. I mean, admittedly, it was only a CGI logo trailer. But that's when the big guns come out. I think the last good E3 for me was the last one, and obviously we missed the last year because of the pandemic and stuff. But I thought I remember I think it was either the last year's one or the one before, but I think it was last year, and that was the one when obviously Sony don't even take part in it anymore. But it was the Microsoft one when they announced Devil May Cry, and he just kept that was one of the big games, and then he kept like announcing like big sellers. But also I think it's a good place to showcase like games. I know you can do state of plays, but they're only like 15 minutes long, these state of plays, with like the one that's coming this Sunday. I think Microsoft are kicking it off with Bethesda. That's a 90 minutes press conference. That to me is like a movie. Like
Yeah,
I look forward to that. Like honestly, like what I do in terms of my life schedule, I clear everything. So I'm got a babysitter ready to go. But no, but in all seriousness, I genuinely look forward to it. So for me, I would not put it in the Vault
I,
101.
I
But
think something else which has watered it down a bit is like Sony and Microsoft buying big developers like Bethesda, because Bethesda used to have their own press conference,
Yeah.
and I don't think they're going to have it anymore. I think it's going to be part of
No,
the
yeah,
Microsoft one.
it's a joint one, yeah.
Konami isn't a thing anymore, so they don't have one.
They were going to, but they backed out.
To what? Sell pachinko machines.
Well, I think that whatever big game they had, I think it's been delayed, so they thought let's not bother.
Yeah, I think tree houses as well. I think I would prefer E3 to go back to what it was, where we don't have state of plays or tree houses or whatever throughout the year, and all the big news was saved for one big show.
Right.
Because some of the tree houses are just a waste of time. Like the Paper Mario one last year, I was excited to see that, and it was just really boring. It was just looking at Paper Mario being played by some developers for an hour, and it just felt like a waste of time. I would prefer a 5-minute thing in a big show for stuff like that.
See, I got to disagree with you on that one. That one, I am quite strong in this one. I think the treehouse is one of the best ideas because you got your direct, which is about 20 minutes to half an hour, or maybe longer. But Nintendo, they usually do about 20 minutes to 40 minutes direct, and then so say they announce the game within that direct. Then they go come back in the treehouse, and then we'll showcase the game. Like a good 15 to 20 minutes of gameplay or something. I really like them treehouses, so I do disagree with that one, and I kind of disagree with your pitch, but I understand where you're coming from because throughout the year we are getting these mini kind of directs, and overall, by the time it comes to E3, have they not already used all their announcements?
That's the thing, like what are we to expect from Sony or Nintendo? No, Sony's not even doing it. So Microsoft, Nintendo, Ubisoft. That's about it now.
Yeah, I mean Square Enix as well, but I understand. Yeah, but let me ask you one thing then before we make our verdict. Do you not like the idea of having, because it's from the 13th to the 15th, and we've got whatever companies are going to be having there. It's 3 days of like gaming goodie to me. Like to me, I just like I cannot wait to have 3 days of direct. You know what I mean?
It's like WrestleMania weekend where it's a weekend of just wrestling, but it's games instead. It's the same thing. I think the ones that I'm interested in, I'm excited for. So Nintendo and Microsoft, but that's about it.
Right. Okay. That's fair enough. I think you made a good pitch. Actually surprised me with that one. I'm going to kick off the voting and say no because E3 is just like part of my life now, I think. And I generally look forward. I actually prefer E3 more than my actual birthday. I'm not a birthday person. So I'm gonna say hell no. But Damien, how do you feel? Should we send E3 to the vault, never to be seen again?
Well, it is a hard choice, but I think I might put it in the vault as well, actually, because it's something I don't really need, and I can get all my information, online and stuff like that. And I don't think we need E3 anymore, to be honest. Yeah.
I think that's absolutely fair points. And what about you? You're the final decision.
Yeah, I don't get excited for it anymore. And like I said, I think the information gets fed to us throughout the year, so I think it's unnecessary now. So I put it in.
You know what? I want to put his all in the fold, to be honest. But fair is fair. I think you all had actually great points in there. So goodbye E3 for good. We will never see you again. Hopefully the state of plays are good enough to maintain it. So let's go to you, Anthony. You're new to this show. Last time we did this, you were actually you were part of the channel, but for whatever reason you were on I can't remember why, but you were on the last episode. So you tell us your first pitch because I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
The first one is the favoritism that Final Fantasy VII has received over the rest of the series.
Okay, so basically you come on the show and you've loaded your gun and you're shooting shots right now. You tell us why. You tell us why you think this.
Well, it's got spin-offs, it's got movies, a full-on remake, and to be honest, I'll be the first to admit that 7 is it is a legend of gaming. It's it came out on the PS1 and it did what it did, and it blew me away when it came out. I'll be the first to admit that. But the way that it's treated as if like it's the only game in the series, like every game in that series was received well, and that doesn't seem to like come over at all. Like I'm pretty sure that if 8 was given remakes and things like that, I reckon they do. They might not do as well as 7, but I reckon there's enough of a market there for remakes of 7 or spin-offs of 9 and stuff to actually warrant making them.
I actually think that's a good. I think that's a good pitch. Actually, I wasn't sure where you're going to go with it when you started, but like coming from myself, I do prefer Final Fantasy VIII myself. That's actually one of my favorite Final Fantasy games. But Colin, I'm going to go to you because I know you're not the biggest Final Fantasy fan. So from a third, like look from a third person looking through the window, how do you feel about Final Fantasy VII getting blown up as much as it has? Do you think it's deserved?
I know why. It's because it was the first 3D one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like the most easy, like the first one that was easily accessible, and I think people just look at it through like nostalgia glasses, and that's why it's so revered. I don't know if it's good. It's not my cup of tea at all. I don't like I'd put Final Fantasy as a whole in the vault if it was up to me.
No, I mean that's fair enough, especially since you're not like the biggest fan of them. So obviously, I think what you said is fair enough. I mean, like you said, Final Fantasy VII. You make a good point. Final Fantasy VII was the first 3D one, so I think that's one of the biggest. It's basically the Ocarina of Final Fantasy to me.
It's the one people played as kids, and that's why everyone loves it so much.
Dave, we're going to go to you because you are like a bit of a fan of Final Fantasy. I know you played a fair few yourself. So how do you feel about this?
Yeah, no, like I do agree with what Anthony's saying. Like I do like Final Fantasy VII, but I would love to, to see more on Final Fantasy 9 and 8 as well, like you were saying. Like it's a fair point to be honest. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't know.
No, yeah, I mean, you kind of on lines with Anthony, and I think that's a fair
They were
point.
successful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like 8, 9, 10. They were all commercially successful. Like I personally think that there'd be enough interest in sort of revisiting those.
I mean, I understand where you guys come from because we're not just on about a remake, which was the latest one, which actually did really well. And I think you played it, Damon, didn't you? Didn't you say you really liked the remake?
Yeah, no, I really like the remake because
I mean,
obviously I haven't been into it because of the
Yeah.
gameplay. Like when they got rid of the turn-based.
Yeah.
Like I was put off by the series, but Final Fantasy VII brought it back for me. The remake,
Right.
like the gameplay is so fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like I said, I think a lot of people are like you. I've heard nothing but good stuff about the remake itself. But where I look at it is, I think if you are going to remake one of the, because you obviously there's like what 15 Final Fantasy games, I think you do remake number 7 though. Like I think from a business point of view and even from a fan service point of view, I think 7.
No, I agree with that. But
Yeah.
none of the other Final Fantasies have like got a look in at all.
I mean, to be fair though, like I think
They
we've had a lot.
haven't-
We have had a
they
lot of
haven't even like
spin-offs.
tested it.
Right.
It's just they've gone straight to 7 or let's just go back to 7 over and over again.
Well, they did remake number 8, not like a remake, but like
It was a remaster. They got like a
remaster. Yeah, remaster.
But I mean, just get a copy of Final Fantasy 8 on the PS2. From the PS1, put it in your PS2. Turn on texture mapping and like there, done.
Right. I mean, I think you got some good points. I mean, I'm gonna go to you, Damien. Like, how do you feel on it? Should we send it to the vote?
No, I wouldn't send it to the vote, to be honest. Like the reason I think it is so big, like, is because the characters are so memorable. And
Right.
obviously, like, I do like the other Final Fantasies, but I can't remember the character names at all. But with Final Fantasy 7, I remember them all, and obviously Sephiroth will always stick with me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
yeah, it's not going in the vote for me.
You're saving it. What about
Yeah.
you, Colin?
I think they should remake Final Fantasy X too.
Oh my God!
No, I think it should go in it should go in a vault. They should like remake or give other Final Fantasies an opportunity to shine.
Right.
So yeah, in the vault.
I'm gonna go with no. I'm not gonna put it in the vault just because I think You are right what you're saying, Anthony, and it's not just the remake game, the big remake game. Like there's been a movie of number 7, there's been an anime of number 7, there's been a PSP game of number 7. I completely agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, like that is a landmark game. So I think if you were the person to create Final Fantasy, I think even I would go with number 7 to like push it to the moon. So I understand. I think it was a good pitch, but I'm not going to pull it down the vault. So that's 2-1, and Final Fantasy VII's
Been
list
saved.
has been saved. Yeah. So I'm actually going to go to you, Damien. What's your pitch
Yep.
that you think should go to Vault 101?
So you're not gonna like this, but yeah, my choice for the vault is Outriders.
Oh, God.
Yeah. No, the reason I'm choosing this game is like I feel like it's an incomplete game, and when I was playing it, the gameplay is quite slow and clunky. Clunky. I feel, and it feels like you stick to the walls, and the transition, from running and gunning, it feels horrible, like kind of thing,
Okay,
like a
fair enough.
messy Gears of War kind of. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
obviously, I don't know, just most of the game, like the characters, the enemies, the story, it's all Medicure, and for a AAA game, I don't know, it just feels like a free game, or it should be a
Right.
free game or something. So, but yeah, that's the reason I want that in the vote for that reason. To be honest.
Okay, fair enough. I mean,
Yeah.
have any of you two played it at all?
No.
No.
Okay,
I
so
mean, I played it. No.
I'll try and tackle this myself because I think
Yeah.
a lot of people know I'm a bit of a fan of that game. It definitely comes with its flaws though, and I think a lot of things you say is correct. Like it's fiddly to go against the walls. The graphics are underwhelming, and the story is very messy. Like this, I think they forget. I think the characters in the game forget what they're doing halfway through, and even I forgot, and I was just going from town to town. But I actually really enjoyed this game. This is from the developers that made People Can Fly. The last game they made was Bulletstorm, which again was kind of received a bit
Bulletstorm was
mixed.
underrated.
And that's how I feel with this game. Like I don't want to underrate this game again because to me it's not perfect. Like the graphics, they don't look like the latest Assassin's Creed, and I get that, but it doesn't. That I'm a guy who plays a lot of Fallout. I'm playing Outer Worlds now, and the people in that game, they're very Fallout like. They're not the prettiest things to look at. The graphics are not the greatest either, but I think the gameplay is there for me. I mean, I think it's one of those things when it gives you so many options, especially in terms of RPG. You got 4 classes, and then after that, you got 10 abilities for each class, and then you got over 100 mods that you can put on all your weapons, which completely it's like building a deck, but in a shooting game, which is what I kind of liked. But I do understand where you're coming from, David. It definitely
Yeah.
feels like a double A game, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
rather
No.
than a triple A game.
Yeah. And what about
But
the bugs and glitches as well? Did that put you off playing the game, or
sorry, say that again.
the bugs and glitches in the game and stuff?
What glitches? Like bugs.
Like obviously, like I had one where the boss wouldn't pop up, so I couldn't,
Shit.
pass the mission kind of thing.
Right.
Another one would be like I'd try and sign into the game, but it would just like stay on the sign-in page, and we'd have to close the hotspots down and reload it back up again.
Right.
But that kind of stuff, yeah. And obviously, like I don't know, like that damage limitation, I don't think it really affected me that much, but it did feel a bit unfair with some of the bad guys would take, killing me pretty fast, faster than usual anyway.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
it's a hard game, I think. But
yeah,
yeah, with the glitches weren't too bad for me. I got the
yeah.
occasion bad guys go through the walls and then it'll pop back out for some reason. But the thing that really bugged me was the online. Like, why do you have to play this game online when you're
Oh yeah,
playing
the
single player?
pause, yeah, that was the main thing.
Like, I didn't
Yeah.
understand that, and that really like grinded my gears. But
Mm.
I might as well go to you guys first because obviously you guys haven't played it. So, what going off my pitch and David's pitch, I think that would be the best way to kind of decide your answer. Like, what do you feel on this game from what you've heard? Do you think it should go in the vault?
It sounds like it should. It sounds like there's more negatives than there is positives. It's like the stuff that Damien's like put forward. You've turned around and been like, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so you putting in the vault?
Yeah.
I mean, don't feel too bad. You can only have to give you can only make your opinion of like these little pictures. So fair play. What about you, Colin?
That comparison that you made, like with Fallout and that, where it's all buggy and the graphics aren't the best, that made me think it shouldn't go in a vote because, like, though, like Fallout and Skyrim or whatever get a lot of shit for how buggy they are, but they're still really good games. So
Right.
if you can it's as long as they're not too bad. Like they're not
Right.
cyberpunk levels. They're not are they cyberpunk level bad?
What do you think, Damon?
No, I wouldn't say the cyberpunk bad.
Right. I could overlook that then, so I don't think it should go in a vote.
See, I don't think the game was that buggy at all. I'll be honest. I think the worst thing for me was logging into the fact that you had to be online all the time was annoying. To me, it just felt some parts were very outdated. But I don't know. To me, I wouldn't say it was a buggy game, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
But that, I mean, that could just be maybe I was lucky or something like that. But so sorry, Colin. What are you putting in the vote?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely not going to put it in the vote. So thank God I save it. People can fly. They make great games, so don't sleep on that company. So I'm gonna. So my pitch is, man, this feels like a straight up shoot. This, but this is it's a certain individual, and that person is Jim Ryan. That guy. For people that don't know who Jim Ryan is, he's the current CEO of PlayStation right now, of
Oh yeah.
Sony. So we've gone from Sean Layton, which was if you don't know who he is, like you would have seen him. He was the guy for the last couple of years. Whenever there was a Sony E3, he was the guy on the stage, right? He made such a like big platform for the PlayStation 2. Like the PlayStation 4 grew so massive, and I feel like he was one of the biggest parts of that. And now we're going to the PlayStation 5 and we've got Jim Ryan. It's nothing but lies. It's actually like pissing me off now. Like at first we get God of War announced, and then I said that there's no way that a lot of people said there's no way that game's coming out in 2021. But they didn't say anything for a long, long time. What, about 8 months later, they said, "Oh, it's been delayed." That game's not even been delayed to me. That I can't even consider that as a delay. They didn't say like they didn't say word by word, but they did very much suggest that a lot of their games are PlayStation 5 exclusives. And then it turns out that it's not true. They're not a PS5 exclusive. One of the trailers has Gran Turismo 7, and then one of the logo it says exclusive to PlayStation 5. That's coming to PlayStation 4 now. I personally don't mind this crossover. I actually prefer it to be on PlayStation 4 and PS5, just so more people can play it, and it doesn't hurt me anyway. But the fact that they keep lying and lying and lying, it's doing my absolute head in. And if you look at like people like Phil Spencer, it's a different story. Or if you look at the one of the best like CEOs ever, Iwata, is that his name? I think I might have butchered his name for Nintendo, the one that passed away a few years ago. They
Oh, yeah.
actually, when you see them on stage, they are gamers. They're like absolutely like passionate about games. You can see it when they come on stage. Phil Spencer literally bought the Xbox. Was supposed to be dead. He bought it from the dead and then had a pitch. He's gone with that, and it seems to be working out for him. And you can tell he loves his games, and it's the same with Iwata as well. He absolutely was passionate about games. He's the guy behind Kirby. He was always on each direct, and yeah, it was easy to like him. When you go to Jim Ryan, you do not even come close. Like it's nothing the same, and I feel like the PlayStation is the console market leader, so that alone will. I think I think they'll finish this console until the PlayStation 6 as number one still, just because it's such an advantage to have like being a console leader. Third parties are gonna always need to be on your console rather than other consoles, just because it's the biggest player base. But I feel like he's undoing the work of the previous, like Sean Layton, the last one for who worked for Sony. There was a story when he used to actually like get involved in like these low budget indie games, even though he knew they weren't going to sell well, just to create a bit of diversity. And I think that was a PSP game. But with Jim Ryan, it's the complete opposite. So I think I've talked too much about it. But what do you guys feel if you know him already, or just off what I've pitched?
He's a businessman, isn't he?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
He's a businessman first and a gamer second, whereas the others, I think it's the other way around. Like they got into a business that they enjoyed.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's and I'm saying all this. I will give it to him. Like the PlayStation is on top form. Like I'm not gonna like deny that. It's just the absolute
The
lies.
lies, the
It's doing me
lies.
head in. Like Ratchet and Clank just is releasing this week. It looks amazing. It looks good. It looks like the best one. So I can't take that away from him. But he keeps lying, and now people are saying, oh, he said this is the guy who said we believe in generations, and then he makes all the games crossplay. This is the same guy who says nobody plays old games, and then says that there's an answer to Game Pass in the works. I don't believe a damn word this guy says. Like, and this is the CEO of the huge company. But yeah, sorry, go on. You carry on, Colin, or if Anthony, you want to join in.
And then he go ahead. It sounds like Nathan wants to kill him rather than put him in a vote.
Generally
Oh,
dislike it.
What can you say? Like if he's just lying all the time, then he has to go in. It's like what can you say?
Yeah, it's just being misled. I can't stand it,
I
mate.
get what you mean. Just there's no need for it.
No.
Why don't these people just come out and like say? I mean, just why? There's no need to lie. So it's just like even with like release dates and all sorts, just like say what's happening. Just it's that simple.
Yeah.
And
What
like you
about
said, like Sony's already a market leader, so people are going to buy PlayStation regardless of what you're saying anyway. So just be straightforward.
Yeah, they're in a winning position. There's no need to like annoy your player base as much as he has already. Like the amount of times he's in the newsfeed, it's always for something negative, and it's ridiculous. Like the amount of thumbnails you see that guy in, you know, on YouTube, it's just a joke. But Damien, how do you feel?
Yeah, like it's pretty bad that he's lying all the time. Like I can't really add to it, but yeah, I don't think he should be lying like that to his,
So,
player base
no,
and stuff.
that's
So
fair. So, David, I'm
yeah,
gonna go with you then. So, how do you
yeah,
feel? Do you think he should go into the fold? But remember, this guy is in charge of PlayStation, and
yeah.
regardless of what I say, you know, the PlayStation is doing well, so he must be doing something right. But
Yeah, so
so you make your mind up. Should he go in the vault or not?
I'd say probably not because we probably have to bring him up again in the future, you know. If
No,
he's
we
that
get
bad,
Sean
yeah.
Layton back, man. That guy was the boss, man. What about you, Anthony?
I'd say going. I mean,
Yeah,
like he's not solely responsible for the
no,
success of PlayStation.
no.
PlayStation has been around for like 20 years before he was even on the scene. So
He was gifted the PlayStation, like he was gifted it after Sean, like after the last one. He absolutely dominated the PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4 was one of the best consoles ever, I think. But anyway, Colin, sorry, I digest. What about you?
His name's not Reggie, so yeah. No. Reggie's the main man.
Reggie is the boss. So he's going in.
He's going in with.
Can I push him in? Okay, so any goals, never to be seen again. We're gonna go. That's our first round pitch, and
Yeah, what is it? What's going in, Jim?
you got Jim Ryan that went in. Final Fantasy 7 did Final Fantasy 7 make it in? I don't think so. No, Final Fantasy lives to see another day. What was your pitch, Colin?
E3.
E3's gone in the vault. I can't believe that's
gone in the
happening.
vault. It's not happening this weekend now. It's gone.
And Outriders, I think that's lived to
I've got saved.
Yeah,
that got saved. So that'll be our first episode of this. We have got a part 2 coming in the next few weeks, or maybe even next week. I'm not too sure. So stay tuned for that. I just want to say thank you for everyone for joining us, and we will see you in the next video. And GG, guys.
GG.
GG's.